Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Martian has landed, and he's done something to affect his team. They actually resemble a good, competent baseball team, pull off the impossible sweep of the Houston Astros in Houston, something that we couldn't even imagine this Yankee organization do, and it's the way that Houston's had the Yankees number, but the Yankees do come away with the sweep, and if you want to kind of look at it, went down there and just kicked their butts, pretty much dominated them. You say the middle game was competitive, okay, but the bookend ends weren't, and the Yankees went down there, took care of business of some, and not Joe Schmo, man, Justin Verlander, of course, someone who's just been a Yankee nemesis. So we're going to get at that, but of course the highlight is all about Jasson Dominguez making his arrival, and of course in dramatic fashion, hitting his first home run in his first at-bat, really his first swing as a major league player, hitting another bomb in the third game as well to help the Yankees complete the sweep. So we'll dive into all that, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So we're going to be monitoring Dominguez and kind of to see, is he for real? I mean, is he going to go on a little tear here in this September here just to give us something, a little sneak preview, something we can look forward to 2024. So we'll get into all that, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. That's the only way you get the wrap-up reports and other cool stuff, content, news stories, interviews, little Yankee history, a lot of everything, and it's going to go beyond just the season. It's not a show that goes and hibernates with the Bears during the offseason. So a lot of Yankee content through the offseason, all the trades and all free agency stuff, and right into spring training in 2024. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And while you're at it, if you have a computer in front of you, hop onto YouTube, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, available there as well. I just dropped their most recent episode on Sunday the 3rd there. So kind of, gets into a lot of the same stuff similar there, but I kind of went in some different areas. So I'm going to try to, separate the powers, so to speak, but make sure go to YouTube, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, subscribe there as well. So we'll hop right into it. I'll steal a little stat from my friends at the Bronx Muchachos, who posted that this was the Yankees' first sweep in Houston since 2013. Just to go how it shows how this Houston organization is as dominant. The Yankees had their numbers over the years, especially in Houston. This has been a house of horrors for the Yankees, especially during the postseason. But the Yankees go down there, and this is coming off of taking out 3 out of 4 against Detroit, almost stealing the final game there. But then, of course, a lot of the news right after that was, of course, Bader was already gone from the team, put on waivers. They already released Donaldson, and then they made the announcement that the 2 young guys, mainly Jasson Dominguez, was finally going to get his major league debut for the Yankees, as well as bringing along Austin Wells. And instead of this, dipping their toe in lightly, throwing them right in there, right in the Lions' den there in Houston. And Dominguez versus Verlander, first at bat there, you figure, former Cy Young Award winner, maybe this guy, Dominguez might be intimidated like that. No, takes a nice outside breaking ball, nice good piece of opposite field hitting, and serves it over the wall in the first inning to give the Yankees at the point a 2-0 lead. LeMahieu hit a home run earlier than that, so you could say maybe Verlander's a little off his game. The Yankee offense really just teed off on Verlander. Later on, Judge would hit a bomb off that little railroad out there, and then, of course, Stanton as well, hitting his 399th career home run. Line drive shot to left field. Only what stopped it that there was a window there, otherwise it would have went out of Minute Maid Ballpark. That's as much of a shot there. Now, again, it is a very home-friendly park, as the Yankee pitchers know about that, but still, very satisfied to see the Yankees, including Jasson Dominguez, just take it to Verlander, have him serve up 4 home runs. And the Yankees beat Verlander a little early on. He was the first start for Houston after he got traded there from the Mets. And, the Yankees didn't really beat his brains. I think it was a game the Yankees won like 4-2 or 3-1 like that. But the Jake Bauers definitely took them deep. And, they beat Verlander, so you're happy with that. Now you back it up with beating Verlander twice in the season to something, again, in a Houston uniform, you couldn't even imagine possible. Now, I know it's not exactly the same Verlander, maybe a little bit long in the tooth, but he's been overall good since being traded from the Mets to Houston there, so it's not like a schlub. But of course, the big story is that Dominguez there, guess not afraid of the spotlight. I mean, you're thrown right there in probably the Yankees' biggest rival right now. I mean, Boston's not really the same. I mean, Tampa, yeah, you can maybe say Tampa's, Tampa, but Tampa and Houston is maybe the Yankees' number 1 and 2 nemesis. So to do that in that big spot like that, to come through big there. And not only that, Austin Wells also later in the game, not as dramatic, but he would also get a hit in the game. So his first major league game, getting his first hit out of the way as soon as possible. And again, the Yankees come away with a very satisfying 6-2 win. Moving forward here, it's going to be, as I said, if you want to check out the most recent YouTube video, it's Baby Bombers Part 2. So they already had up Everson Pereira as well as Oswald Peraza. And then, of course, Volpe is already here, and Oswaldo Cabrera, has also been already here, even though he's kind of dropped that, fell out of favor a little bit, just because his second, run up here hasn't been as good as last year. But nevertheless, you got this young group now, and now you bring in the two young guys, Jasson Dominguez as well as Austin Wells, and now you have a nice crop of four anywhere from 4 to 6 players, young guys now that you can go forward with, and then you mix in some of these veterans. A lot of good stuff, like you see moving forward. But really, I would say the most enjoyable game, even though it wasn't as home happy, is the second game, because it was kind of a bit of a seesaw battle. Now, Severino's on the mound. After 2 brilliant starts, he basically just served up two-run home runs, so it's not like he got absolutely trashed. It's just 2 swings, but unfortunately, there was a man on base each time. So, Yankees took a lead in the first, thanks to an RBI by Peraza to get the Yankees on the board. The Yankees would increase the lead with a bases loaded walk thanks to Cabrera, so good eye to play at that bases loaded. Now the Yankees could have had a bigger inning there, unfortunately didn't. Had to settle for a 2-0 lead, kind of left the bases loaded there, and that always bites in the backside. And that's when Severino gave up his first 2-run home run, would tie that game at that point. The Yankees would go ahead on an Aaron Judge home run, but then, of course, Houston would answer right back with their second 2-run home run, put the Yankees behind that point 4-3. Now, Austin Wells, with bases loaded, and again, another young kid getting thrown right into the fire here. Doesn't do too much, with bases loaded, doesn't try to overswing and maybe, ground out. No, just put some good wood on it. Nice little flare to center field, just far enough for the Yankee tying run to score. And then after that, Pereira would contribute with a go-ahead single. So you like the idea that it's not just home runs, it's the young guys, but hitting singles, sacrifice flies, doing little things. Of course, yes, you like the big Dominguez home run dramatics to start it off with, but this game was good because it was a lot of clutch hitting. It was Cabrera taking a ball forward, bases loaded, to walk in a run. It was Peraza with an RBI single. It was Pereira with an RBI single, and at that point, putting the Yankees ahead 5-4. And the Yankee bullpen the rest of the way would hold it down. Clay Holmes would come on the ninth and shockingly not blow it, and the Yankees squeak out the second game there 5-4. So you got the series win, and really at that point you'll just really take that. You don't mind if you get killed in that final game because you're shocked that you won the first 2 games. Even with the hoopla of Dominguez coming here, you're not, it's a young guy. You figure he's not going to really come out of the gate, and you figure maybe he's going to struggle his first 15 at bats like that. I mean, we see it all the time. But the fact that you took the first game really handedly, and now you kind of squeak away the second game, again, using a little small ball, using some clutch hitting, something that this Yankee team organization needs, more than just relying on the home run. But so satisfying the first 2 games, which then brings you to the third game. Now, the third game, they stretched out Michael King a little bit more. We've seen them, going with him for 3 innings, and that's what I kind of figured we'd see in this game. But no, that wasn't the case. They actually had him go 5 innings, and actually, since he went into the 5th inning when the Yankees finally went ahead, he was actually able to secure the win. Now, the Yankees, he did give up a run in the first inning there, so the Yankees were losing 1-0, and this was going through to up to the 6th inning, and you figure, you know what? Hey, the Yankee offense was decent the first 2 games, and if this is one of the typical Yankee games where the bats do absolutely nothing, you go almost like, all right, you could take it. But no, the Yankees come to life there with Cabrera on. DJ LeMahieu, who, again, his bat's been coming alive with an RBI double at that point, ties the game up 1-1. And then with DJ on, Jasson Dominguez, who hit a shot of Verlander on the first game, hits his second career home run. So, again, they're throwing right in there. This guy's delivering big home runs in big moments against a big team. I know the Yankees are kind of out of it playoff-wise, but again, this is a high-pressure, big situation, and this kid, 20 years old, is coming through. Puts the Yankees ahead at that point, 3-1, and then the Yankees tacked on from there, including Gleyber Torres back in the lineup. Again, he missed a little time just from a neck injury, hits a bomb of himself. Kind of missed the train a little bit. He kind of pulled it a little too much. I think if he centered the ball up more like how Judge does, he might have had a chance to hit that railroad, but he had to settle for a shot almost off the wall there. And the Yankees increased in the lead eventually to 6-1, and again take the final game. And again, this was against Christian Javier, someone who's just baffled the Yankees in the past, and hey, the Yankees took it. So you look at Verlander and Javier, 2 good quality pitches for Houston, and the Yankee bats beat them. So this is, definitely something we're not used to, at least in this 2023 season. And the Yankees come away with the sweep. Again, this is probably, it's hard to say. I guess, you almost have to say it's probably the best series win of the season. Now, you say maybe, there were other series when the Yankees were a little bit more relevant in the season. Let's say, when they took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, when, again, you thought the Yankees would be a playoff team. You can make the argument there. But I think with this, if you want to just put the realities of where this team is, where the organization is, and all the things involved, getting the young guys here, getting Dominguez here, and, again, on the road in Houston to get a 3-game sweep, you have to say this was definitely the best series win of the season. I know it's in effect that the team right now is still 2 games under 500 and 8.5 games out of that final wild card spot there. But with that in mind, where this again doesn't seem like there's any chance they'll make the playoffs, you got to like what you saw these 3 games here. And I kind of mentioned this in the YouTube episode. How many times do you see these big guys come up with so much hoopla and they just buckle or they don't come through? Or the ones that do come through, the ones you don't expect it. It's like the Shelley Duncans of the world. It's like the Shane Spencers of the world who give you 2 months of excitement and they eventually fizzle out. Here's a guy, Jasson Dominguez, 20 years old. You know, they give him the nickname The Martian. They're expecting him to be like the next Judge. I mean, the next big thing. And so usually someone comes up there, you figure they buckle under the pressure, but that's not the case. Delivers 2 big home runs in this series and again, doesn't look phased at all, doesn't look overwhelmed, looks like he belongs here. And now he's mixing with some of the other guys. You know, you see Pereira hit a little bit, Peraza finally hit a little bit, and the fact that Volpe, and he's been here, you know, putting up a 2020 season, 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, not too bad for a rookie. And, of course, playing some really good defense. And, you know, one of the plays he had in the series, did one of those Jeter-esque jump throws. He also made a great play, that's going back in the Detroit series. So, defensively, he seems fine. You like to get him the batting average up. But, again, overall, you're seeing this young group of guys where you can be a little more optimistic now about the organization. Now, I kind of got into this a little bit into the YouTube episode. You figure, well, now, someone might say, well, look, if Cashman knew he had these chips in his hand like a month or 2 ago, why didn't you bring these guys up sooner when you had 2 months left in the season? If you had this team as it is right now, this second, for 2 months, yeah, you know what? I think they could come back from like a big 8-game deficit in the wild card there. But a lot of conditions were a little different than 2 months ago. You got to look back to 2 months where Severino wasn't as good as he is right now. He was completely lost. Rendon, again, he was out on the IL. He wasn't there. And DJ and Stanton, who I kind of get into this in the YouTube episode, weren't hit as well as they hit right now. So, yes, it's good that the young guys up here and they're contributing, but there were other pieces that weren't contributing 2 months ago. So you can't just assume if you brought up Jasson Dominguez, August 1st, and all of a sudden then the team would have been just as good as they were right now. So as the young guys are good that they're here right now, you also got to look at those other factors that, yes, DJ's hitting a lot better right now. Had a home run this series in the first game off of Verlander to right field, kind of very reminiscent of that big home run hit in the 2019 playoffs. Getting Stanton hit a little bit better, even though you would say hitting a 211 in your last 109 games isn't really anything to be proud of. That's true, but when you stand like hitting around 190, that is kind of true. And again, hit a bomb this series as well. And even in that Detroit series, not only hit a home run, but had some good clutch hits as well. Hitting the ball in the gap, going against the defense, they're doing a little opposite field hitting. So Stan's been better. So there's other reasons than just the young guys that his team's playing better. There's other pieces playing better. So you can't just assume just if Cashman decided, you know what, should have brought these guys up sooner and the team would have been hotter sooner and there would be probably maybe only 2 or 3 games out of the wild card. That's not the case because now it's the combination of the young guys and some veterans who are finally turning around a little bit. So there's a lot of different things going on with that. And if you want to kind of see that argument laid out a little better, go to the YouTube episode. It's there, uploaded on September 3rd. And I kind of just talk about that whole situation there. But let's focus back on these Yankees right now. Again, come off of an impressive 3-game sweep against the Houston Astros. Now they'll get Labor Day off. And then they're at home to face those very same Detroit Tigers who were terrible. And so hopefully now on the Yankees turf, the Yankees can continue to pummel them as they beat them up a little bit up there in Michigan. So they come down there and hopefully continue that. There's not much to really, watch. If you're going to Yankee Stadium, if you have Yankee tickets, of course the excitement now is going to be watching Jasson Dominguez the rest of the way. So I'm sure you'll get a nice standing ovation in that first game. And we'll see what he does, in front of the home crowd. And it's always the case we made that maybe it was better they brought him up on the road, just where less pressure, less cameras, less fans, on top of every pitch, every second. Maybe it's just, even if Houston is a tough place for the Yankees to play, maybe for him it's easier versus making a debut at Yankee Stadium when, they're expecting the home run at the first at bat, which they probably are anyway. But nevertheless, that would be so. Labor Day off for the Yankees and then 3 against Detroit. And this is kind of weird because I remember the Yankees always played on Labor Day, and it was always an afternoon 1 o'clock game, typically either against Tampa or the Baltimore Orioles. So I'm not sure why they gave the Yankees off. I mean, it is still kind of the Yankees, quote unquote, America's team. That's what from the Dallas Cowboys. You would think of all the organizations that would at least be playing a game on a day where most Americans are off from work, and the Yankee fans all over the country maybe they want to watch a Yankee game. Now, when they started this season, they didn't predict the Yankees would be out of the playoff hunt. But you would think when they planned this before the season started, they would at least found a way for the Yankees to be playing on Labor Day. But that's not the case there. So the Yankees get the day off, and it's well deserved. Hey, they did a really good job on this road trip. 3 out of 4 against Detroit, and then sweeping the Houston Astros. But it's the sweeping the Houston Astros part that's the most impressive. So the Yankees deserve a day off for Labor Day, fine, and then they'll host Detroit for 3 games there. And jump back to the YouTube episode. Let's just say they sweep the Detroit Tigers also at home. I just really can't see this team, getting back into one of those final 2 wild card spots. I mean, yes, it's only 8.5 games back, but there's only 25 games left of the season, and both Texas and Houston are kind of well ahead of the Yankees there. It would take quite a momentous collapse for that to happen. Again, the Yankees would have to continue winning, and you would need either Houston or Texas completely buckling. I don't see Houston doing that, and I really just don't see Texas doing that. Now, plugging the hell out of this YouTube episode, I mentioned that Chapman has been sloppy lately compared to earlier year, where he kind of looked like he refound himself. He hit like 106 on the radar gun, and he kind of looked like whatever problems he had with the Yankees were over with, and he kind of was the old Chapman, the Chapman that was at least good with the Yankees. So eventually got traded to Texas, but lately he's been melted down a little bit. Again, blew that big game against the Mets at Citi Field there, so the fact that he's imploding a little bit, okay, that could help the Yankees, because if he could blow some games, lose games for Texas where the Yankees are trying to climb ground, okay, that helps. But overall, I just don't see that happening with Texas with their lineup. And of course, they brought over Matt Scherzer, and again, Matt Scherzer has been more effective now with Texas than he was with the Mets. Seems like it's giving him a little energized shot in the arm there. It seemed like Willie wasn't happy in New York, and he was kind of trying to force his way out of there one way or another. Seems happier in Texas right now. And so when you have a guy like that throwing, someone like that can stop a losing streak. So I just don't think there's enough time for the Yankees to catch up. It would take the Yankees almost pretty much have to win like 20 out of those next 25 games left, and you would need like Texas or Houston to completely just fall off the wagon. Again, Houston's too good to do that. They're experienced. And Texas, okay, they don't have the experience of the Houston Astros, but they're still pretty stacked, and I just can't see them falling apart that much. Even if they just take Chapman out of the closer role there, that in itself might just solve the problem there. So listen, I got our hopes up high. Let's just take it, one series at a time. Let's watch Dominguez. Let's watch the other young guys develop. Let's see Austin Wells develop. And also, important too that Rendon had another good start in the series, so got over the 5-inning mark there, which has kind of been a little struggle for him. So Rendon keeps building there, so good news there. Severino, I know he got cuffed up a little bit, but those was 2 swings of the bat. It wasn't like he was atrocious. So if you got Cole, Rendon, Sevy, it's 3 guys rolling there. You just wish there could have been another month to the season where if you had those 3 guys rolling, then maybe the Yankees could make some noise. But unfortunately, it looks like it's too little, too late. So we'll catch you next time.